friends, this is the Bijou Baker. I'm Maria. So I'm a day or two short, and for that I apologize. I have told myself that when I hit my 2-year anniversary, I'm going to share with you my OC cheesecake. I'm a couple days behind due to some stuff, and I'll just leave it at that. So I'm kind of post-celebrating my 2-year anniversary on YouTube. Yay! And so with that, I want to share my OC cheesecake. Pure decadence. It is so rich and creamy, and there's a couple of tricks that I'll show you along the way that are going to make a really smooth, creamy cheesecake. Cheesecake in itself is just out to intimidate you. Don't let it. There's really only like 5 or 6 ingredients. It's a big bully, but you got this. Okay, so the first couple of things I'm going to show you, they're just the crust. The cheesecake has 3 parts, at least mine does. It's got the crust, the filling, and then a really sweet tart topping. That's the combination of all 3. Ooh, 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 ooh. So this is the list of ingredients for the crust. Now, the fun thing about the crust, you remember how I say, if you can add flavor, add it. That's why I put the cinnamon in this. I've also changed it up, and sometimes I put cardamom. You don't expect that flavor in a cheesecake, which is why I love it. I don't overpower it. It's not a cinnamon cheesecake. It's not a cardamom cheesecake or whatever other spice I put in with the graham crackers. It's just enough that works with the cream cheeses. So the very first thing I do, come look. The very first thing I do is I prepare my pan. It's just a regular, it's just not loud, sponge pan. And I just take some parchment paper and I line it. That's all. This one was a little bit short. Use 1 whole piece, use 20 pieces, it doesn't matter. Just kind of tuck it in that little lip. You'll see a lip inside, right down in there, okay? And even that's just to kind of hold it in place. This is all you're gonna do to preparing the pan. That goes. Then we've got our graham cracker crumbs, and they do have them already smashed. Oven's ready. I like touching it, so there you go. You got your sugar and your cinnamon. And again, that cinnamon is just to add the flavor. It's not going to really overpower in any way. And I'm mixing this well first with the end of my spatula so that when I get the butter in, it's going to incorporate really. It's already kind of mixed. So I'm going to put in the butter. And you do want it melted. Someone had said if you can just use room temperature butter, it's different. I'm telling you, it's different. It's not going to get the same. You're not going to get the same result. So what you want is your crumbs to get wet, just like wet sand. Once it's all wet, you're just going to press it into the bottom, only the bottom of the pan. And you don't want it too wet. And I'll tell you what, if you do get it too wet, you're gonna have it oozing out the bottom of the pan, and it'll drip onto your oven and burn the bottom. I mean, it's strange that a little bit would make a big difference, but it does. I used to always really like the sides of my cheesecake up on top as well, but for this one, I don't want an overpowered crust. So I'm just gonna pat it around, make sure the whole bottom is covered and even. And I'm really gonna put some muscle into it and flatten it and press it. And the press part, that's what is gonna give you your great crust. And then you bake it. So pressing. all the way down. It's strange, that little bit of cinnamon. It makes just enough of a difference. And like I say, when I do cardamom or even ginger or any other spice that you might like, it gives it just that little bit of extra flavor. Also, I did want to tell you that one other trick that I do just for my peace of mind is I take a piece of foil big enough just for the pan, and many cheesecakes you put a bain-marie, which is just a water bath. I don't do that. What I do is I just put this goes in the center rack, and then on the bottom rack I put a bowl of water. So that bowl is going to get hot and steam, and that's going to be enough steam for this. But if you do a bain-marie, which is this, you take this and you put it inside a bigger dish and fill that with hot water. And then it just kind of gives you an even, both are just fine. I think I'm just being lazy and do it this way. So wrap your pan in foil. Aside from the bain-marie, the one reason I do that is because if there is too much butter, it will seep out the side, the bottom of the pan, and just make a mess. So this goes in the oven for 12 minutes at 350. Okay, so that's in the oven. Now we're going to start on this filling. The biggest trick to this filling is scraping the bowl. So much more often than I usually say to scrape the bowl. Scrape the bowl and then scrape it really well. Because it's going to be such a light, flowy, creamy batter, any chunks are going to be really visible. And when you pour it in, and if there is a chunk, you will be biting that cream cheese. Not that it's a bad thing, mind you, but just remember, scrape it often and well. So this is the ingredient list for the filling. Now, with the cream cheeses, 2 pounds of cream cheese, that's quite a bit. I use 2 sticks of the, or 2 bricks of the regular cream cheese, whichever you like, and then 1 of the low-fat, New Chantel, it just means a low-fat cheese, and then 1 Greek cheese. The Greek cream cheese is really soft, a lot more soft than the others. Even when it's been in the refrigerator for a while, it doesn't have that fat consistency. But that also means that you don't want to make the whole cream cheese out of it because it won't set. So even though we've got cornstarch, which is going to really help stabilize it and set it and get it firm, too much of the soft, real low-fat cream cheese, you don't want that. You want the fat in the cream cheese to give it its stability. But the Greek cream cheese, boy, if you haven't had that just on a cracker, that is so good. It's got a snap to it. Really, really good. And then the other ingredients, well, I just showed you, so let's put them all together. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is put the cream cheese in. And you can see this one, it's all soft and it's all good. But this one here, that's the Greek cream cheese, they've been out at the same time. It's just so much softer. You saw me whip it really well because I had it on high because I really want to make sure it gets creamed. I mean, this is probably the hardest part of this cheesecake, is just keeping it creamy. And you know, I love my KitchenAid, but that part on the bottom, it just really loves to cling there. This might be the messiest part too, but I don't care. It's worth the trouble. All right. Okay, so I'm going to stop it, I'm going to scrape it, and then I'm going to add in the sour cream bit by bit, a little at a time, to make sure that's well incorporated. Now, yes, this part is the mess, but I'm telling you, when I say scrape the sides, I really mean get everything. The mixer, I'll do this over and over. When I scrape each side, I'm going to do this too. This is crazy messy. Trust me, you'll want to. You'll just dig in, guys, and get messy. It doesn't matter because you want that bottom. You want that whole, you want all of it in there, because if you don't mix it like this, you're gonna have chunks in the bottom, and you don't want to put those chunks in your cheesecake. Well, maybe you do. I don't. I'll say that. How about I don't? All right. So we'll do it again. Keep my rag handy. And then add the cream cheese a little at a time, the sour cream. And yes, I scrape it again. All right, now I'm gonna add one egg at a time and let it have its fun. Now this, I'll show you, let me stop 1 second. Here I got my 4 eggs, even though there's a ton of egg yolks. I got some double yolks. I'm using it. I'm counting it as one. One of the big keys to this cheesecake is taking your time. Let these items incorporate well together. You guessed it, another scraping. I know, right? Who the heck scrapes a bowl this well? Me. And you should, and you'll be really glad you do. But I want to make sure that everything that can possibly come off the bottom is coming off. And these chunks here, I want them incorporated too, so I'm putting them right back in. You follow the madness, right? Yeah, you do. Okay, the last three things I'm going to add is the zest. Now this is not a lemon cheesecake, but the zest and a couple of tablespoons of the juice, they're just going to work with the cream cheeses. And a little bit of vanilla. I'm getting to the bottom of my vanilla jar, which means I'm getting a lot of the vanilla beans in there. Big old smile on my face. All right. That's it, friends. This decadence is done. Now it goes into the pan. If you've ever made cheesecake, you'll know that when you get to the bottom, you've got all these chunks. We covered that here. I'm selfish enough to want all of it, except maybe the part where you lick the spoon. So it goes into the crust that's cool. You want to make sure that this is cool before you fill it. But by the time you get everything done, it works right about. If it's warm to your fingers, it's cool enough. So we fill it and bake. Can you see? Well, let me show you. I'll show you when I get it all out. The bowl's not clunky and stoppy and blocky and all that other sort of stuff. So let me just let you see so you can understand. It's basically clump free. So this goes in, and all I'm doing really is just kind of taking out any air bubbles. Now, this I'm going to leave just like that, and I'll tell you why in a bit. This goes in the oven. I have it at 300, and I'm going to put it in there for an hour and a half. Slow. That's what I want. That's one of my tricks. You can see that the bottom bowl is starting to bubble up a little bit. It'll stay like that and keep just enough moisture in. One of my favorite part about a cheesecake, most any cheesecake that has it, is that very thin layer on top. It's a sweet sour cream topping, and all it does is top. And this is really great. Like if your cheesecake cracks, this is a perfect cover-up. Plus, it tastes so good. These 3 ingredients is the magic. I say 3. I forgot the vanilla. The vanilla is just such a common thing for me. I almost don't call it an ingredient. But quite literally, in the same bowl that I just emptied, with this spatula that has some residue on it, which, by the way, come over, get your shoes on, come over, it'll be ready by the time you get here. I'm gonna put it all in the same bowl, mix it, let it sit until it's time to put it on. I'm not gonna put it on for the last half hour of baking time. But another trick to this cake, and in about an hour, I'm going to lower the temperature to 250. Let it sit like that for about 45 minutes. Then I'm going to turn it off, and that's when I'm going to put this cream on. If you're following it, it'll all be there. So you're going to bake it at 300 for about an hour and a half. I think about an hour and a half. At the end of this video, I'm going to give you an absolute confirmation. My brain is thinking 3 different things. An hour and a half at that time, really slow. In an hour, I'm going to turn it to, what did I say, 250? What did I say? I think to 250. That, right there. You'll turn it to that. Pour this on, turn the oven off, and let it sit. Did I confuse you well enough? I'll walk you through it. This is the time. So it's the sour cream. It's been sitting for a minute, that's why I got a little separated. The sugar, the lemon juice, and vanilla. That's it. And I'm scraping all of this stuff that was in the bowl. I usually use a whisk so I don't get the splatter, but I don't have a whisk on me, so this will sit until it's ready for the oven. Until then, we just twiddle our thumbs and wait. Okay, so this is done. Look at that. That's so nice and high, and it's just beautiful. I took it out of the oven and I put it on my turntable because yes, I'm gonna try to make it pretty. And I'm gonna take that sour cream mixture that I made and I'm gonna put it on. Yes, I'm gonna put it on hot. And it's going to really start to just change the whole cheesecake altogether. But I'm gonna do this quickly. And I want this all, and it's gonna be, the center usually sinks a bit. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. And I just have an offset spatula. And I'm just going to, now here there are chunks. Here the chunks are really great. So if you wanted to do some sort of design, this would be the place to do it. This chunk is just a little too big. So around. And I'm intentionally leaving that little bit of a dent as I go further in. All right, this goes back into the oven and I turn it. Okay, so it's in the oven. I left the oven on for 5 minutes and then I turn the oven off. I take it out when I can handle it with my hands without a dish rag. It's just gonna sit and kind of calm down and get structurized in the oven, and it's not gonna bake anymore except for the last 5 minutes, and it's gonna just sit. The ideal time to serve this is after it's sat in the refrigerator overnight. The waiting is the longest part. It's the hardest part. But let it set overnight. Now, I did make one yesterday, so I happen to have one ready to eat today. So I'm gonna take it out of the pan, serve it up, nibble on it. That'll go in for tomorrow, and guess what? More company. There's a method to my madness. I love people in my home. So let's look at this finished product. And so when you see this, you're gonna say, what the heck happened? It rose. It had a good rise to it. When it's calming down and setting and getting firm, it's going to relax a little bit. That's what you want. All right, let's look. Okay, so this is it. It looks a little different, but that's okay. The other one's not done, so this is exactly how it's supposed to look. Let me make this a little bit better for you. Did I? Did I make it better or worse? 1 or 2? Eye doctor, right? So, and these pans are they're just fantastic. They're just every baker's friend. And I'm gonna show you. This is one of my favorite reasons why I use this, because then I have a nice, perfect, clean edge. Beautiful. We're gonna put it right on the plate, and we're gonna dress it up. Really, just anything that's gonna work for you. And here you could see that some of the parts are it's uneven. Do I seem like I'm bothered? I'm gonna say no. They're not all even, but that's okay, neither am I. I've got proof on that. Let's put this one there a little bit. All right, a little, a lot, a little, whatever makes your heart happy. Isn't this your favorite part? This is one of my favorite parts to making things look pretty. You know, we really do eat with our eyes first, so this one you have me wondering, so I'm just going to say bye. You have to be qualified to come to this party. I'm sorry. Is that good, guys? Is that good for you? Is that picture perfect? We want that in the middle? What do you think? No, it's not done yet. I thought you knew me better than that. We're gonna dust it. We're gonna kiss it with some powdered sugar. Yeah, baby. Yeah, I dare you to say no to this. Hello, gorgeous. Right? Right. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I love it. I love presenting stuff like this because people are going to get it on their plate and they're going to say, oh, that looks fantastic. Then they're going to eat it. And they're going to be blown away. I have yet to have someone taste this and not be blown away. I'm the blower of the wayer. How's that? That's stupid. Let's see. Come over quickly. Get your shoes on. Come over. I'll save you a piece. But if you take too long, I'm not, because it's good. All right, my friends. That's it. I'm wacky. Until next time, happy baking.
Ah, that was fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe.